You're listening to the PAZNIA Radio Network.
"99% of the news out there today is AI slop, distractionary nonsense, or worse, fear-mongering based outright manipulative deception and propaganda. With no desire to empower, the modern news cycle is designed to lead the hapless citizen serf along the train tracks of servitude, with only slight permissible digressions into controlled cul-de-sacs. What news show exists for the self-liberator who strives to keep up with news relevant to liberated lifestyles, second realm culture and music, and critical PAZNIA developments? What news show exists that will provide freedom pioneers with the knowledge, education, and networking connections necessary to liberate them, while also having fun? There is only one. Join host Shane, aka Rayo2, and Shadrach as they dive into the freeing and mysterious world of liberation here on the Life and Times of PAZNIA, a monthly news show from Veritas.
All right. It is game time, it looks like. Make sure everything's unmuted here. We'll get the music fading out. Let me ask you, Shadrach, first things first. Terrible, just very terrible starting off the show. Can you hear a fan in the background?
No, I can't.
Okay, beautiful. I turned down to 1, and I thought I would have to somehow maneuver around the table here and deal with that. But no bad audio hate crimes yet. I say yet. I don't know what's going to transpire. We might have an HBO star dropping by during the show, or maybe an hour later. Who the hell knows? Or a dirty raccoon might show up, and if you hear a gunshot, then
Nice.
that's what you'll hear. But who the hell knows what's going to transpire? Well, I know a little bit, but I guess the extraneous things I'm not really quite sure. But across the United States of Israel and around the world, this is the Life and Times of PAZNIA, a monthly news show from Veritas. I'm your host, Shane, Rayo2, joined alongside my co-host, Shadrach. I'm coming to you from the outdoor studio here at Veritas. Maybe one of the last weekends I will be able to do this. And just double-checking things once more. Okay, we are good. But yeah, Shadrach is broadcasting once again from the Temple Mount, Jerusalem. He's currently surrounded by a bunch of Talmudic ladies of the evening, as they say. He's proselytizing Bitcoin and mesh networking. They're, should I say, pussyatizing, trying to lure our dear Shadrach into an ancient death cult. We'll find out how receptive they've been to freedom tech momentarily. But anyway, Shadrach, my friend, good to be back with you. How are things going? And you aren't actually in the Temple Mount. You're actually not anywhere weird at this point, right?
No, but it was I think appropriate, and I went there in my head, so maybe I was.
Fair enough. But yeah, I guess we'll get to. I guess we kind of incorporate. You just got back recently. You're always broadcasting from somewhere cool, and you will be probably next time or the time after. But you just got back from one of your adventures, which will work that into the PAZNIA news segment. But for now, I guess I'll just say we had another damn good Self-Liberation Saturday transmission. Had Saeed from XMR chat on, which was great. To actually get to talk to someone behind the project. Obviously I understand the privacy focus, for a lot of folks, but it's always great. It's always great to connect and to connect to a real human being.
I really enjoyed that, and yeah, they've had it on Ungovernable Misfits for a while, and then he mentioned P.A.Z.NIA had reached out to work on it, so that was kind of cool. It was like, oh, I remember like the birth of that way back when.
Okay, really?
And
so that was birthed on Ungovernable Misfits then?
I mean, they were
To some
maybe
extent.
one of the first few, but P.A.Z.NIA was a big supporter
Cool.
of the
Okay.
show, so I'm assuming that kind of is how all that connected together. So
Right on. Well, that's cool. I didn't know that background. And yeah, no, it's always one of the hard parts about doing the live transmissions on Saturday is it rules out some folks over in Europe or in the Middle East or whatever. But I don't know where the hell Saeed was coming in from, but it sounded like somewhere with very poor internet connection in the Middle East. So God bless him for, maybe he's in a bunker avoiding bombs or something. I don't know. Who the hell knows what's going on over there? But I appreciate him regardless.
Yeah, I like the bathroom next to a beach. That was a good.
That's a nicer. Yeah, he's just on a beach somewhere. He's just on a beach somewhere. But no, I love XMR chat. And on that note, which I'll mention it later on, xmrchat.com/PAZNIA radio, or just xmrchat.com/XMR chat if you want to help support development. They're doing a lot of. I guess it's really just one dude, and it's not like. This is one of those like solutions that it really isn't that complex, like it's not like a big infrastructure project. So regardless though, I'm glad he jumped on it, and it works damn well. Things are moving forward, and I guess that's
I definitely enjoyed listening to that.
Yeah,
good guest.
Yeah, agreed. And we were supposed to have a Tinker Tribe live tonight, but unfortunately. Greg got droned by a head cold or something, and he had to take the weekend off to get some rest. So I played a replay, his first one, which was last month. Another, I listened to it again. Another, lots of valuable stuff in there. I hope you guys dug that. But this is, if you're new here, we do a Self-Liberation Saturday transmission every Saturday starting around 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central, usually about 10 minutes before that for some pre-deprogramming per se. If you're listening to the archive, tune into the live show. You can give us a call at PAZNIA.com/call2. But anyway, if you're new here, this the goal of the Life and Times of PAZNIA is to bring you the best, most entertaining, most valuable news show on self-liberation existence. We do this via 4 segments: Self-Liberation News, Freedom Pioneer Focus, Freedom Music Spotlight, where we highlight the art and culture of the Second Realm. Then the VonuLife Digital Message Board. And the last segment being the longest, our Second Realm strategy session. In terms of news, I'll give an update on the PAZNIA library, which there's actually some developments, some real on-the-ground developments per se. We'll deliver some news regarding 2 fiat, ongoing news or lack of news per se. As we said, Shadrach's been traveling. We'll get some good info about what he's been doing and more. For the Freedom Pioneer Focus segment, we'll be joined by HBO star Miranda Webb, a.k.a. Lily Forrester, for the longtime Vonu podcast listeners to confuse the living shit out of everybody. If you don't know her story, go download The Anarchist off your favorite torrent or pirate site, or very soon just go to lbry.paznia.com and it will be there. But don't do that yet. I'll ever give a 5-minute summary or so. On her story, kind of the entire Anarchist documentary series. But that's kind of the more in-depth suggestion. On that note, her co-star Jason Hensa might be stopping by. He told me he'd be here around 8 Central, which would be right around our first break. But then he said 9:30, so he might show up afterwards. I was kind of hoping he'd drop in randomly while we were interviewing Lily, so we could have like an HBO Anarchist reunion. It's all spontaneous. I didn't even know he was coming through until yesterday. So, anyway. Then we'll dive into the VonuLife Digital Message Board. We've got a few SimpleX messages, an email, and maybe more to cover. And again, we'll take your calls, PAZNIA.com/call2. Again, PAZNIA.com/call2. And you can also leave a message on SimpleX. PAZNIA.com/SimpleX is the directory for all the chats. Just find the one for the PAZNIA Radio Network, and I'll prioritize looking at that one. And then, there's xmrchat.com/PAZNIA Radio 2. And for our, then we'll take our only break, and then return for our Second Realm strategy session. We're going back to autumn 1969 to an article Rayo wrote, titled "Surmounting Barriers to Freedom." Obviously a little old. This is a truly timeless one. Some really wise wisdom and discussion points for the modern day. So now we'll get into self-liberation news. Got to get the clip queued up. I don't have to, but we'll do it for purposes.
This is Self-Liberation News. No fluff, no bullshit, no propaganda. Keeping you apprised with developments regarding liberated lifestyles, PAZNIA, Second Realm gatherings in physical space and time, and more. And now your host, your humble radio deacon, Programming Coordinator Rayo.
No, I'll tell you what that gives me the chance to do is to get the proper chats open. So it serves a purpose. Definitely serves a purpose. So yeah, we'll get to PeerTube, or the PAZNIA library update first. So if you go to lbry.paznia.com, you will find the server's up, there are videos uploaded, but 2 days ago the videos worked great. There's some glitch happened. Matthew will fix it this weekend, and the videos will play. But anyway, he put up a few sample videos, and I tried them out from the homestead, and also from the city per se, and I was super impressed with how quick the streaming was. Very, very impressed. And I went in when the videos were working, and or when they were playing, it still works. Still, it's still it doesn't work. The videos don't play yet, but it's there. And I created a few playlists: one for movies and documentaries, one for music, and one for what was the other one? Anyway, there's three channels, quote unquote channels or playlists now. And I threw up a few documentaries already. Threw up a movie or two. And there will be lots more coming forward, and I will read to give a more technical, because this is where it's taking quite a bit of time. And what I love about Matthew is he's been doing a lot of these open source projects since like the 90s, like these custom open source projects. So he's trying to he's building the foundation for PeerTube could take over a lot of stuff that we do, like even potentially like the restreaming services. So he's building a damn good foundation. But I guess the first thing is there are a lot of PeerTube plugins and such. We'll remove that PeerTube branding and put PAZNIA library. That's an easy thing. That'll come. That'll come very soon. The next steps, though, which he's worried about the technical stuff, which obviously I appreciate. It's got to work before anything else. But stabilize upload operations. And one of the things of that is something he already does for ContentSafe.co, his company, which integrates PeerTube already. But basically having a multi-file upload service that uploads all the metadata manual or automatically, so you don't have to do all that shit for every single video. Which is amazing because when you download, like for TV shows or movies or whatever, all that metadata off Pirate Bay is already there. So that should just be once it's uploaded, it should just be there and ready to go. Not a whole bunch of bullshit maintenance work that I hate doing. And there's a lot on the Vonu podcast site that I haven't gotten to, but it's okay. That's not a big deal. But then after that, these are the other two big components. One of those being, so PeerTube does live encoding, so it'll take a live MP4 stream and turn it into a live MP3 audio stream or AAC or whatever, and it'll have a low data audio feed alongside all of the video streaming. That's going to be one of the steps and one of the next steps, as well as so PeerTube really only does videos. It's not like an actual doesn't really do PDFs or anything like that. But he mentioned one piece of software or something, I don't remember, but there will be a companion library for books or PDFs or strategy guides or stuff like that. So we'll have basically two different libraries. They won't be interdependent on each other. So if one goes down, the other one's going to be operational, etc. Resiliency built into everything. But that's I guess a kind of a long-winded update. And yeah, more to come. Much more to come here over the next couple weeks or so. But yeah, it's an important one. I love the PeerTube vision of where once we get this stuff set up, it'll be seeded across. Dave, formerly of Start9, will seed one there in Colorado, and hopefully we'll have a few more across the world, and then the entire library will be easily replicable. And even if one goes down, there'll be other seeders. So I love it. Found it, it's been a project, 6 month plus long project. It's coming into fruition, so it's good to see.
Nice work.
What are your thoughts, Shadrach?
I love it. I just that's a big part of what we're doing with Archipelago. The closer you can get the data to you, the more you can use something like a long range Wi-Fi or something to get high bandwidth stuff. So having that distributed geographically and then being able to create those connections that aren't necessarily dependent on the internet is a huge part of what we're going for.
Yeah, certainly. So I mean, you mentioned it. Something I wanted to ask you about anyway. But and I don't think this is related to your travels, and if it is, we'll jump to your travels too. But an update on Archipelago. I think you shared a screenshot in the PAZNIA chat a week or so ago of the dashboard, and it looks slick. But yeah, you got any updates or anything on Archipelago?
So that was a big part of my travels. So everywhere I was going, I was doing multiple things. So I was doing kind of underground transportation. I was doing showing Archipelago, uh, doing some art gallery stuff. It all tied, it all tied together really, really well. But yeah, I was everywhere I went. I would set up an Archipelago node in the Airbnb, and then I would go to wherever the conference was and have them talking back and forth to each other. It was pretty cool over
Okay.
mesh core pretty much. Mesh core was huge in Ireland. I feel like I talked a little bit about the mesh core in Ireland, but yeah, and then MoneroCon and Bitcoin Film Fest, which was at the same time. I was showing it off there, but yeah, it's really, really, really close. The idea is anything you can run on a Start9 box, you should be able to run on Archipelago. But we really want to work on the monetizing of running a node thing, which Thane goes on and on about. I think that's really going to be the thing that breaks this from a niche, Bitcoin node here and there, and maybe a Home Assistant or a Nextcloud into something that, there's 500 per city.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that was Archipelago was a big part of your travels then. Yeah, we'll dig into MoneroCon and some of that other stuff more specifically. But so yeah, Archipelago's close. There's progress. I'm looking forward to trying it out. Yeah, when it's ready. So I guess I'll jump forward to a PAZcraft update. So PAZcraft, for any new listeners, PAZcraft is our open source mine test server. So this is Minecraft basically redone to where it requires super low data or super low usage on machines. So you can run this on a ghost phone or whatever. But yeah, you can go to PAZNIA.com/PAZcraft, download Luanti, which is the piece of software, install Minetest, or I guess it's just like installing an app, basically. Install the Minetest app. And then you can input the information available at PAZNIA.com/PAZcraft and hop into the server. And yeah, this is kind of the original vision why I took interest in it is someone mentioned the free digital economy from Paul Rosenberg's book, A Legend of Wayfaring Men. And now it's turning into to bigger visions. I guess the most recent one is and Avalon the Demiurge, the one that created the that managed the server and all. That's his pen name per se for PAZNIA, whatever you want to call it, his nim. But he's been working on a bunch of mods, and one of them was like quests or stories, and I thought it'd be fun to put together like a PAZNIA missions on PAZcraft, where it's like education/propaganda, and some sort of cool missions or something, which with NPCs even like Fallout or Skyrim type missions in PAZcraft that are PAZNIA oriented. So that's kind of the next one. I guess the next. Well, I guess that's not the next. I guess probably the next big thing. Avalon's always adding in different mods, and I guess now one of the mods is Planet. So if you join the game, you want your own planet, he can get you one. So, yeah. Anyway, any thoughts on the PAZcraft update?
I really like the idea of kind of treating a lot of the Second Realm stuff as a role-playing game. I think one of the people I'm working with in Prague now has a lot of kind of philosophies along that, like as we build this parallel network and stuff, in a way we're inventing it and creating it as a story, and to kind of feel good treating it as such. And I definitely like the idea of the in-game thing. With the markets, they're calling them gamma markets out of Lodging of Wayfaring Men as well. So that's the open markets on Nostr are called gamma markets.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool. And I saw Paul Rosenberg in Prague at the Freedom Tech Summit, and
Nice.
that was incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love Paul. I actually, so I went up to Chicago and interviewed him in person at a fellow anarchist house. And then he came to the MPL Fest and gave a talk at one point. And then yeah, he came out to Vonu Fest. It was like Tuesday. It was very early, so there's only like 4 or 5 people here. But he came and we made him lunch and hung out and chatted before he went off to Hackers Congress. It was right before he went off to
Wow.
Hackers Congress. So yeah, Paul Rosenberg's been here. It was cool because like the Second Realm vision came from, and I'm pretty sure he was one of the authors of Second Realm book on strategy. I don't. It's literally 100% a guess, but I would not be surprised in the slightest.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of what I'm building, whether it was a lodging away fragment or or other stuff, yeah, he was a big part for all the cypherpunks. I mean, he's writing about this shit back in the early 2000s. So
Let's republish everything as Second Realm, the role playing game, like with stacks of D&D books, like Know Your Enemies, and we've got a whole section on bludgies and 3-letter agencies.
yeah, yeah, no, exactly. It's no, and it's I don't know. It's like with anything, if you're trying to get people's attention or anything, it's got to be done. That's why culture jamming is such a major aspect to everything that I
Yeah.
do. It's got to be done through comedy and entertainment. It's got to be. For the most part, except for us highly autistic folks, which there are not many, maybe thankfully. But anyway, we'll move forward here to the quick 2 fiat update. Really, there's no update as far as there's really no update. So really, I guess the update here is maybe I guess for the time being, find a different solution. I've heard of Goblin Card. Theirs looks more expansive, but it's a pretty hefty. It's more permanent though. It's not just like a one-off prepaid card per se, where
Right.
it's like a $20 activation fee for 2 fiat. But this one's like $350, but it's like a legitimate debit card basically.
Wow.
So that's one. I haven't used it. I've seen a bunch of people talk about it, and I looked into it over this past week. But yeah, I might just look for whatever it is, and it might just be as simple as when you're operating those first to second realm solutions. I can't even imagine how big of a pain in the dick it is to deal with credit card companies. I would never ever. That would never be an entrepreneurial venture I go into. But that's just me. I'm glad other people are interested in tackling it. Yeah, any thoughts there?
Yeah. Well, it was interesting. Silent Link sponsored the Wi-Fi at BTC Prague, so
I saw that. Yeah,
they're
that's weird.
definitely like out there. But yeah, I don't know if it was. I haven't heard any particular updates on it. I had heard hack. I had heard the bank shut them down. But yeah, we've spent maybe 2 or 3 weeks like every other day trying to go see if they were up to get a card for some of the artists, and it was just like
Yeah, I check about every few just to see if like there's another button added or something to show that like they're working on something, but no, they aren't. So, or I guess it doesn't look like it, but they're sponsoring something. So maybe they're just doing a massive redesign. But if they're again, the communication part's the problem. We talked about that, but regardless, hope they get back up and running. It was a solid service when it operated. But anyway, we'll jump forward. This was this next piece of news. It's actually I didn't pull it up until before the show, and it's only like 3 sentences. It's not actually like really much of a news piece or like much to really mention here. I gotta get the right damn screen up here. Oh my word! Here we go. So this is Todd Borho. I had copies of his book until they burned up. Didn't sell any, but I read them and they're really good. It's kind of in the same vein. The first book was called I don't remember the Evolution Trilogy is the name of the book series, but the first one was called James Bong, and it was like a comedy sort of basically like a I guess you call it like a movie script style. A movie script style book, and it was called James Bong. And like when there'd be attacks on government agents, they'd like release, THC vaporization or something to knock out the agents. Funny stuff like that. And there's like it's a 3-part book series. The last one I got like 20-30 pages in, and it was on like a seastead. Really cool book series. ToddBorrow.com, the Evolution Trilogy. But the news point here is. He posted that thank you to his supporters. He's happy to announce that he's donated over 1,000 paperback copies of his books to libraries and used bookstores around the U.S. So that's pretty huge. I've not done that. And 1,000 books, that's that's worthy of mention. So, yeah, toddborough.com. Check out the Evolution Trilogy if you're looking for a good piece. Next a few books of anarchist freedom fiction. They're good.
Very cool.
So yeah, let me get back to that. Can go to the other screen. And the next piece of news is maybe you corresponded with this guy over in Europe too, but I was on Zap.store just scrolling through. I check every week or so to the new apps to check out, and Roadster was up there, and Roadster was recently published. We've talked about that. I guess like the Nostr version of Uber or whatever, a ride-sharing service on Nostr, and it was dropped by Uri Badnar, and I was like, holy shit, I know Uri. So I messaged him on Signal, and he'll be on Thane's show on July 18th. I think it's July 18th.
Nice. No, I
yeah.
think Roadster. So Ridester and Drivester were the Uber ones. I think Roadster is like Waze. So it allows you to post anonymous things like, oh, there's a cop up ahead or something like that.
That's right.
In a way that's privacy preserving, and I don't know if you can zap people who do tips, because I think that's really the killer piece, and I think Things mentioned that as well.
Okay.
Like, because then you're incentivizing good information and showing appreciation for it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that clarification. It's hard to keep this shit straight. But no. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. I remember reading the listing. Yeah. It's like Waze. Yeah. It says that in the description. But yeah. So Roadster is definitely worth checking into.
Oh yeah.
Worthy of mention. And yeah, again, Uri's done. He's been on the podcast, on the Vonu podcast before we did really live shows, and Prague has been an inspiration to like a lot of the underground current. And he mentioned a story that he told about them hacking the TV broadcasting systems and broadcasting propaganda. And I was like, I did that in Deus Ex, the video game, which was based in Prague. Like, I wonder where the inspiration for that came from. But no, Uri's a cool dude. He's even the co-founder of Parallel Polis. So yeah, he's a super OG. Like there ain't many people out there have been doing this for much longer, that are public at least that I know of.
Cool.
So yeah, Roadster is on the Zap.store. But yeah, go ahead, Shadrach.
No, that's a good. I hadn't really made the connection, and I went out to Parallel Polis last year a couple times, and I know that Dark Prague won't be there this year because it is no longer there. So we were actually trying to have a new place up by Dark Prague. So I really should talk to him about some of that if he's interested in the area. So I guess he's in Prague.
I don't know. I'm not sure where he is.
Okay.
I don't know specifically. I think there's another Parallel Polis too. There might be two or three. So I feel like he's one of the kind of the traveling folks, and it sucks because at some point I was hoping to get over to Parallel Polis or to get over to Prague, but it's closed. Well, I think Parallel Polis is closed now. It's not just Hackers Junkers, but but there's still. I want to get over there sometime, but it's just like it's getting less and less likely. Like if I travel anywhere, it's going to be probably south.
Right.
And in the near future at least, until some of these second realm, like I've kind of seen, well, this might have been one of the, I might have forgot to put this on my list, but there was a site called Concierge, and this is where for second realm travel's coming, it's just super expensive now, but there's a site called Shop and Bit, and they have concierge services. Which I'm going to click through, and I got to let their site load, so you got to bear with me here for a moment on.
No, I can, and I've worked with those guys.
So you know them?
Oh yeah, and so yeah, they're apparently offering KYC free airline flights somehow.
Cars, travel, and and other.
Well, I think I don't know how they're doing the airline thing. I need to look into that, but to be able to fly without your name. Interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. Yeah, so once this becomes more common, I think it'll enable a lot of stuff. But these services are starting to become more normal. People realize, Thing talked today about some dumb like it's like some dumb sports ball thing, but the privacy implications like for this are massive. But like the recent Madison Square Gardens hack, where like these tickets were the only people that got hacked. It's one of the very few times I have no sympathy for the people that were hacked, because I mean it's instead of like where's Waldo, it's like where's the pedophile,
Yeah.
probably in there. I mean, yeah, it's a honeypot for sure. Like obviously hackers are gonna go for that shit. Get enough piece of information and just open up some credit cards or whatever, right? So it's not surprising, but no, it's just when these things start. I guess I don't know where I was going with that, but it tied in somewhere.
It's part of that. He was also talking about has talked about wrench attacks and things like that, like just exposing your identification at all these different places where you
Yeah.
could
Okay.
be
Reported
reported or looked up on a list.
that's where I was going with it. Was that yeah, like regardless, like at this point in time, yeah, like if you're a super high wealth individual, you got like a different different security profile or whatever. Yeah, you might be ahead of the game on needing some of these things, but people are going to realize how big of a deal this privacy thing is when. And if they should have already, but it's not going
And
to get any better.
as soon as it's available, we should be doing it on principle and supporting the businesses that are making it possible.
Oh yeah.
So it's all part of the PAZNIA D&D manual.
Yep. Yep. For sure. For sure. All right, let's see what we got any other news here. No, so I guess the only other parts of the news are so Archipelago was a part of it was a big part of your adventures, but I just want to talk more generally here. So you went to MoneroCon. Where was that at, and kind of tell us a bit about a bit about that experience, what you.
Yeah, that was in the middle of Warsaw in this crazy building that I guess Stalin gave to Poland as a gift, and it was just it's a pretty impressive building. So it was crazy having the Film Fest and MoneroCon at this kind of iconic, really cool location. It was really fun, and I love that they joined the two together. It really gave a lot of people opportunities to kind of intermingle. And one of the things that have noticed over the past year, maybe even since Midfest, it's just like people who use Monero want to buy things with Monero, and people who hodl Bitcoin or whatever are just like, oh, why can't I use a credit card? And it's just kind of obscene. But like when being in the kind of the selling area, the vendor area of the conference, more Monero people were buying, art or books of poetry or shirts with Monero than we got with Bitcoin. So yeah. That was a really cool confirmation of something that I've noticed. And but yeah, I was mostly just showing Archipelago, talking to people. I really didn't go to any of the films or any of the talks, but just talked to all the people that were there. A lot of people I had met at Dark Prague last year. But no, it was a very unique, really, really cool conference. They put on a great thing.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. No, I would never. I was never super into. The only time I considered going to a Bitcoin conference was when Matthew Raymer and I were working on Vonu coin, and that's one of the things. Like you got to go to the stupid conferences if you're gonna have a shit coin. Thankfully, it didn't pan out. But yeah, like, and that might be a reason I don't go to any Monero conferences either. But if I'm going to go to a crypto conference, it's going to be a Monero conference because those are where the real people are at now. It's not the fucking LARPers like Tone Vase on Twitter. And I just like, he just probably popped up again. I hadn't thought about him for like 4 or 5 years, like the former derivatives trader who just. I appreciate when we talk shit about shitcoins, but he's kind of
Yeah.
just a moron. He doesn't know anything about starting on, but he was just talking a bunch of shit about them giving the option to their users to enable whatever node they want to use,
Oh boy. Yeah.
enabling self sovereignty. And he's like, "Oh, they're enabling shitcoining," and it's like they're giving their users choice. They aren't forcing it on their users. What are you talking about? But anyway, like it's no Bitcoin, like Bitcoin's still good, but it's just like the culture of Bitcoin is so shit now. Like it's just like first realm now,
Yeah.
unfortunately, generally speaking. And
Yeah.
unless you get to the like second layer stuff or like the
Yeah.
cashew or stuff like that.
Well, I think then the film fest was more of the culture side of it, which is another downstream of money type of thing. So I think that you saw a mix of the two cultures kind of being able to overlap. Where if you go to a straight up Bitcoin conference, the cultures do not mix.
Oh God, I mean, no,
They-
so I guess I should add a caveat here. I might go to a Bitcoin conference in Europe, but I would not go to a Bitcoin conference in the States. So that might be an important caveat. There
yeah,
might be
maybe.
more hardcore folks in Bitcoin in
We
Europe.
can talk. That's more when we talk about BTC Prague. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this was the best mix of people that I've seen since I think Dark Prague is a great mix of people, and they did have second layer tracked and health hacking. That's a really good conference. But the culture of Bitcoin plus the culture of Monero, I think, made a good mix of people.
Gotcha.
It was special.
Cool. All right. So I guess any other notes on on Bitcoin Film Fest? There might have been another event that I forgot about, but I think that was one. You kind of mentioned it was a good blend of cultures, but was it like one like the Austin Film Festival? I don't remember what's the South by Southwest, or what was that one kind of like?
It was pretty small. I mean, it was they had movies going throughout the thing, and then the speakers throughout the MoneroCon in another theater. But it was pretty small scale. I mean, it's hard to compare it to anything except like Fantastic Fest in Austin, which was just like held at one theater, but they had lots of different shows going on at the same time.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
That was cool.
All right, so we got about if Lily, aka Miranda, I should start calling Miranda, Miranda, aka Lily, will be dropping in about 9 minutes, hopefully 7:45 or so. But yeah, I guess just an open general question for you. Since last month when we talked, I don't know. I guess I don't know how long you've been back, but we'll just since our last show, what do you think? I guess trying to figure out how I want to frame this question. I don't know. It's been a month, but do you feel like progress is increasing? Progress is going faster or slower compared to like? Do you think do you feel there's any sort of urgency with the tech being developed? Yeah.
Oh, that's two very different questions. I think urgency, absolutely more urgent than ever. Like Thane was saying, we need to be paying people to cut down cameras and really taking this seriously, because at some point it's going to be completely captured. So we did. So I mean that's again why we want Archipelago to work so bad, because if they can control the money, they can control the data, and they can control the internet, which is the access to the data, then they can pretty much capture us.
Yeah.
But if we are able to start creating like reliable back channels for everything we do, if we build this amazing fantasy world that we keep talking about, I think we're actually really close. And I personally am doing everything I can to push it over the edge. So I really think by the end of the year, we'll have some good use cases and test cases, and possibly seeing internet connections go down in Europe and the UK, and hopefully having this backup network is able to protect the people we care about.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's an important point. And I think folks in our circles know this, but like obviously in the first realm, there's a lot of like a lot of public talk about the AI data centers. Like, oh, we need data centers for AI, but the underlying part of this is like it's for that too, but it's also for the massive amount of storage for again, like personal information, yeah, but also like with the ear pods, like there's multiple sensors and just like AirPods themselves, like it's tracking a lot more. Thing talked about earlier. It's tracking like all sorts of very individualizable things, like actions on your body. So like and all that information, like, so yeah, it's beyond just like who you talk to, your messages, your communications, your internet search history, all of that. Like it's way, like that was like 10-20 years ago. Like
Oh yeah.
we have that, like that's not even a part of the conversation anymore. Like we're talking about where the like it's all that information is stored on, which I think it's also it's funny, it's funny too, and I'm happy to see it. The memes come across Twitter where it's like oh, what was the oh yeah, it was so don't it was like a public service announcement: don't plant bamboo near data centers. It causes irreversible damage and almost impossible to fix.
Nice.
So I'm happy to see stuff like that coming. Like yeah, it's coming across. Like I think people are starting to, like, even the kind of more in the more public sphere, the first realm sphere, people are kind of seeing what's transpiring, a lot clearer so than before. Yeah, even going back a decade ago. Yeah. No.
Oh yeah. No, we were still occupying the cloud a decade ago. Now it's gone full retard. I mean, I imagine they're saving as much encrypted data as they can if they think it's relevant, even just to be able to decrypt it later, or it's the amount of storage that they're using to capture all this stuff is incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is, and it kind of I'm wondering too, with all of the body cam footage I've read before, or that I've seen before on some of these things, and like there's obvious ones where they admit, like the one or two where they admit that they got a tip on somebody and they tracked them over multiple states using the body, the cameras, the interstate cameras, but. But yeah, I mean, I think it's I think it's like the body cam video is getting to a point. Like it's not just like they obviously had a tip beforehand. Like they're just acting on a tip. No, like I think at this point it's like, they probably saw someone put a bag of drugs in a vehicle in Austin, Texas, and and Tulsa, Oklahoma, on like some interstate around there. They see that license plate and then it pops up on their screen, and like I think it's kind of to that point. And I was kind of hopeful back when Kyle and I talked about this, back at 2014, I guess it would have been 2015. He wrote an article on NSA, I guess Dragnet wiretapping, NSA surveillance, and back in those days, even back around 9/11, one of the so-called big problems was that these the intelligence agencies didn't communicate with each other, and further than that, the federal governments don't give information to states. States weren't that handy of information over to elsewhere, but that's different now.
Oh yeah,
that's different. That naivety of 10 years ago that I hoped was the case is most definitely not. But no, it's yeah. They're always way further ahead than what you envision. Even if you're kind of familiar, it's hard to track it in real time.
Yeah, and my freaking rental car in Europe, like you turn it on and it's like powered by Google, and I'm like, holy shit! Like it's there's no turning it off anymore.
Yeah, and something Thane mentioned earlier, which I didn't think about, but holy shit! Like even the tire stems now, like even like the air pressure gauges in the tires are electronic. So it's like, well, fuck, can Mossad like overinflate your tire and blow your car off the road? Like what? Well, no, obviously that can't. There needs to be an external source for that. But you kind of get what I'm saying. Like when you get down to like something as small as like how much control is.
Oh yeah, we talked about this
Or
at
not.
Dark Prog a lot last year, and I'm working with a couple people. I mean, it's yeah, there's a lot to figure out, and there are a lot of moving parts. But yeah, the tire sensors, they can get a lot of data off of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, just sensors in the road. I mean, wait, they could just be reading any. I mean, that's close enough to read everything in your car.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of. Oh, I don't. So Avalon shared a YouTube video in the PAZNIA chat a few days ago. It was like 100 homemade aircraft that shouldn't have flown, or something like that. And some of these like were like some like Africans who put together this like toy looking thing that actually took off the ground, like it actually took flight. But no, like I think one of the legal interstices here really is like I think the PAZNIA Department of Transportation. I don't know. It needs to turn into like Department of Aviation, or I guess we have a subsect of like Department of Aviation and beyond like the airships, like just like basic flying vehicles.
Oh yeah, it's all on the roadmap. Don't worry, I got
Yeah,
your
no,
back.
like that gets just you can't travel by roads anymore. So
Nope, nope.
you have to make our own airplanes or something. Yeah, but again, it doesn't. You watch this video. I'll share it. I'll try and remember to share it again or I guess reshare it in the PAZNIA Simplex chat. But no, it was some of them were kind of jokey. This guy built he built his own helicopter, and he was like a suburb, and he tried to launch it, or he tried to take off on his driveway, and he got like 5 feet off the ground and it just dropped down. And the narrator was like, and sometimes it's just the first step of a journey, or something along those lines. Like, yeah, well, he did. He took off the ground. And it looked cool, at least. But I
The
think that's
VTOL
where it's
drone
at.
stuff is going to be. I mean, we should be able to build our own stuff pretty soon. I think AI is just getting just to the point where it can start help with more small manufacturing tasks. So it could be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, and there was one or two cases where it was a drone where someone just like grabbed onto the drone and it just carried them. So yeah, it might just be as simple as just a drone. Might be overthinking this.
Yeah,
But
with a backup balloon.
well, yeah, there were backup balloons too. Yeah. Or they didn't go that far off the ground.
Yeah.
In some of the cases. Yeah. Yeah, well, we'll see. It's we're coming to 7:45. We'll see if Lily drops in here. But yeah, if you want to join in on the conversation, PAZNIA.com/call2, simplex.com/radio. Sorry, Jesus, that's not the right link. PAZNIA.com/simplex. We'll take you to the directory of Simplex chats, and join the radio network one. Drop a message in there, and I will be checking as I have the attention span to do so. Looks like Lily just joined in.
All right.
Hello.
We got a couple comments and questions too for later on, so that's good. Thank you, Avalon. But Lily, we're actually sorry. I need to get back to. I need to switch over. Miranda, aka
Yeah.
Lily, for the previous audience to confuse the shit out of them. Yeah. Welcome. I would say welcome
Yeah,
back, but
thanks for having me.
this is not the Vonu podcast. This is the Life and Times of PAZNIA, a monthly news show from Veritas. But it's good to have you for our Freedom Pioneer Focus segment. This isn't. It's not a 2 or 3 hour interview or anything like that. But it's we're trying to highlight someone who's some hardcore self-liberator that's doing cool shit, and that you fit that bill for a long time. So it's great to have you.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, there are a few people who have kind of gone as hardcore as I have.
Yes, and that will be one of the bigger questions, and it was one that was something that you brought up in your last interview with Thane. That was, I think, very very prescient and worthy of mentioning. But first off, I want to point the folks towards the Anarchist HBO documentary for the full in-depth story, as well as the aforementioned Last Appearance on Cloak and Dagger, where got a major update, one that I certainly appreciated. But for the sake of any new listeners, could you give a 5 or so minute rundown on your story, if it's possible to keep it to that? I don't know if it's longer, it's all right, no worries.
Yeah. So, I mean, realistically, because people ask me like when I found my way into the counterculture movement, and I was born into it because my mom was a weed dealer and my dad was a anti-tax agorist. So, I was kind of born into the movement, and then I kind of got brainwashed by school. You know, I was told by a lot of people my only chance at success was to go to school and get a good degree, and you know, that once I was there, I realized that that wasn't right for me. I started like going down all the rabbit holes. I even went to like a democratic socialist convention that was on my college campus, and I was like, these people are a bunch of idiots. But I gave it a try, you know, which is more than what most people in the community do. Like, I even read Marx to see if it made sense, and it didn't, right? And then I found Konkin and all of that. And so I was like, fuck it. And within a couple months of that, I dropped out of college and I started really just doing the anarchy thing, like full tilt. And then in 2015, actually, it's almost 11 years exactly, I got arrested with my partner at the time. And considering the fact that my mom was a fugitive for most of my childhood, it's not really a stretch that my first instinct was to leave. And so we were like, where are we going to go? And we just happened to be watching a Jeff Berwick video, and in the background he had Acapulco, and we're like, well, that seems a good idea as any. So we started south. We went back to Detroit, worked for a while, went to Oregon, attempted to work for a while, moved to Mexico with $50 in our pocket, and ended up at Acapulco in 2016 and got involved with the community. More or less, like, we were chicken farming, we were doing all sorts of shit. We started a fork of Acapulco, intended to be a decentralized portion, which still exists as part of Acapulco. The organizers did not see it as a value add. They saw it as us trying to take over Acapulco, or to replace it altogether. And I mean, I recently got promoted to director of operations for Acapulco, so maybe they weren't that far off, right? But my partner ended up getting killed for a lot of reasons that, I mean, we can get into that if you want to, but long story short, in Mexico, if you don't treat people well, life is cheap. That's what that came down to. And at the same time, there was a documentary being filmed. That documentary ended up turning into The Anarchists, because everybody loves a murder mystery, and I have just been trying to put my life back together after the murder and find a way to solve these still long-standing 10-year-old, almost 11-year-old legal issues. And that's the synopsis.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
lived without banks. I should mention that that is a big thing, and that's a big thing that's affecting me this week, because the one bank account I had for my friend from the US got shut down, and I'm just like, fuck. It is prohibitively difficult for me to get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. No, I get that. No, I get that entirely. Now, again, I would refer people to your last Cloak and Dagger correspondences with Thane for full rundown. We're not going to get into that tonight. But yeah, one thing I did want to, I guess one of the things I wanted to dig into more for some reason tonight was, so yeah, you've got this 10-year litigation, or I guess legal situation hanging over your head. Which obviously has a bearing on your freedom. You can't really travel. You don't have a passport. I mean, it's it's having a bearing, right, on your freedom. So you're trying to remedy that in some ways. So yeah, could you tell us a bit about I guess getting rid of that? It's just a cannabis charge, right? Essentially, back in Ohio, or cannabis charges.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess give people an idea of what you're facing, what you're trying to work towards, and where you're kind of at.
So yeah, long story short, when I was in college, I was also an activist. I was trying to legalize weed. I was president of Students for Sensible Drug Policy. And I'm bringing this up because there was this guy that kept coming to our meetings saying that he was in Akron's college trying to start a similar chapter. And he's like, how do you guys get people interested, right? And we kind of could feel that he was a cop. Because first off, Akron, for anybody from that area, from the Kent State area, it's got the nickname of Crackrin for a reason. And if you're having a hard time starting a club on Akron's campus to legalize drugs, you're not doing it right. right? And so we kind of were like, we could tell he just wanted to know where the parties were, and we weren't telling him that, right? Fast forward, several years. I've been dropped out of college at this point for several years. I've been a full-blown agorist. You know, anyway, when I got arrested, I was moving to Detroit and I had a bunch of shit in my car, allegedly, right? But really, it was just a bunch of random shit that I had picked up from a storage unit and then I was taking to Detroit, where it was legal to grow weed and to consume weed and even to process, dabs and everything at the time. So we were moving and we got stopped by some police. We were at an abandoned house because we lived at Fireweed University at the time. So we were into adventuring through abandoned houses anywhere they came across our trail, right? Well, we went to the wrong one. Somebody called it in and the police showed up and they searched the car. After we refused to consent to a search, they were kind of dickish about that. They brought a dog. They searched the car, and then at the end, right at the end, the drug task force agent showed up. That drug task force agent was the same guy that was coming to my meetings. And he just looked at me and he said, "Ooh, look who I finally caught. I don't know what I'm charging you with, but it's going to stick." And I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. And the cop that was standing next to me was like, he was trying to tell me, "Oh, it's not that bad. You've never had charges before. It's just weed. Like, it's not going to be that bad." He was trying to be comforting. And then he looked at me and he's like, "Oh, he doesn't mean that." And then the guy was like, "Yes, I do. I do mean that." And I got 5 felonies. So, my first instinct, like when you added all the charges together, and probably not, like if I would have thrown John under the bus and said, "Oh, it's all his," told the truth about the fact that I was in an abusive relationship and isolated from my family, but blamed all the weed things on him and went to rehab, I probably would have gotten out of it, right? But I'm not that type of person. And so my real first response was, okay, we need to get the fuck out. And then when I was in jail, I was comparing my charges with charges of other women that were there, some of them for meth production and stuff, and they had less charges than I did in terms of severity. And
You were targeted by
they
a
all
cop
told,
for some reason, undercover cop.
yeah, right. And then and they all told me the same thing when I was in jail. They all told me to run. They were like, "You need to get out on bail and you need to run because they're trying to fuck you." And I was like, I didn't tell any of them I was going to do that. I don't think they would have let me out if I did, right?
Yeah.
But I was just listening, right? So, yeah. We ran and it has been the end of next month. I think it was July 29th or 30th or 31st, something like that, where I got arrested in 2015. It's been almost 11 years. Weed is fully legalized in Ohio. And no shade to people who still smoke weed. I don't anymore. I quit smoking weed in 2022. And you would think if these weed laws existed for a reason, it was to get people off the weed. I have offered to plead guilty to all charges. Now, I don't know if my lawyer actually communicated that. I have paid a lawyer. I have offered to do drug tests to prove my sobriety, even follicle tests, because I have I have offered to do a lot of things, and they basically just say, "Just turn yourself in and let's see what happens." And that kind of got worse after the documentary came out because it made them look stupid.
Right.
It made them look dumb, and they don't like being embarrassed. And the struggle is not even so much the weed charges now; it's the fact that I ran, and that they have proof that I crossed an international border, and that itself is a felony of 5 years. So yeah, I paid a lawyer. I paid Mexican lawyers trying to get some sort, because there's loopholes to legalize me here. And I'm still working on that, but I'm not paying those motherfuckers anything else because what the fuck. But nothing's changed. I've not managed to make any progress.
Yeah, and it sounds like it's I mean, yeah, like it's the anarchist documentary came out, and that the people that have the charges on you, they're embarrassed. I mean, it's not just something they're gonna. It's over
Yeah.
nothing, but like, and nowadays it's over nothing. But yeah, they're butthurt about it.
A victimless crime, right? Just had some things in the car, right? And so recently, though, I don't know if you've heard of the enemies of the state guys.
Only
Well,
from you. Very little. Yeah, only a little bit from me.
yeah. So, they recently reached out to Anarchapulco, wanting to partner with us, and I handle partnerships for Anarchapulco. And so I was like reading the email, and I click on the link, and I'm looking at the link, and there's a bunch of people I know on their list of enemies of the state, but not me. And I'm like, so what's it take to be on your list? And I had heard through the grapevine that they helped with Ross, getting Ross Ulbricht free, and they helped with Roger too. And I was like, so what does it take to be on your list? Because I am stuck and I don't get very much
Yeah.
support. I have a lot of people that tell me, "Oh, I hope you get it free. I hope you get it solved." But like nothing beyond that. And I get it because there's not much, it's not easy to deal with these situations. And they gave me their criteria, and I came back at them, and they were like, okay, well, what's the difference between you being a victim of the state and an enemy of the state? And I told them the story of the undercover. And Dan O'Neill was like, yeah, okay, so this is starting to sound like Ian Freeman's case. We're going to support you. So we're trying to build a strategy. I'm working on building a website. My aunt's gonna help with a GoFundMe to try to hire a lawyer that can actually fucking do something, but they're expensive. But like, yeah, it's been a long time of trying a lot of shit and making no progress. However, I will say that I did come to the right place because Mexico does occasionally deport people. They do that. I know. Kurt David Robinson, he used to come to Anarchapulco. He's been deported. He was deported back to Australia for overstaying his visa. And somehow, in 10 years here, and I have crossed from end to end of this country, from border to border, literally. I was in Chetumal looking at the Belize border like 6 months ago, 5 months ago, something like that. Yeah, 6 months ago. So I have been all over the place. I have driven through many immigration checkpoints. I have been in police chases. And somehow I'm still here. And I still have a pretty good quality of life. And
Yeah, and
it could be
you don't
worse.
look Mexican, so you don't
No, I
blend in.
don't.
You don't blend in.
No, I don't. And that actually helps in southern Mexico because they're not looking for white people. They're looking for like Hondurans and Guatemalans and people from Haiti and shit like that trying to get up to the United States. So when a girl in her clean, like in a nice SUV that's being driven by her clean cut Mexican, like whitezican, honestly, he's pretty pale, boyfriend with a teddy bear and a cat in the back seat roll through the immigration checkpoint, they can pretty securely say I'm not being trafficked, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So yeah, I was curious about where the current situation lied, and yeah, that's unfortunate. So I guess what I'll just say. So Rayo talked about something called avenging angels in his book, and the idea, and Ben Stone talked about it in his edition version of Sabotage many years later. But just hypothetically speaking, it's basic. So like say a Vonuan. Puts, it's like an insurance fund. They put put an insurance fund aside to somebody. If they get arrested, it can be used for legal defense. It can be used for whatever will get the person out of prison. One of those things is for them to fuck with or harass the people that are
Right.
that are. And Ben Stone took it to the point which I love. Like, and it's so so innocent. But basically, say there's a judge in the case that's ruling on John Smith or whatever, and you say that you own a landscaping company, and you just pull up there, and I'm trying to remember the exact details, but basically, the neighbors won't care. You're just tearing out all the landscaping because she wants new lawn, new landscaping. So basically, the undercover landscaping and just tears up all the landscaping, and then a letter comes in later on, sort of thing, like just stuff to fuck with. So I mean, I'm just saying, like, if it comes to that point, Thane would be your guy to talk to. I'm not saying that that's anything I recommend. I'm just talking hypotheticals, but
So
that's last resort.
So part of the possible strategy for this is my Aunt Jerry, she's actually my mom's childhood best friend, but she's been more of an aunt than the majority of my aunts in my life, of the blood ones. Anyway, she sings in a Janis Joplin tribute band in Ohio, and she has been throwing music fests all over the state of Ohio and sometimes in Michigan and shit like that for 25 years, 30 years. Like I where I learned my basis of event planning and work was working for her events, was helping her, right? So all that to say, when my mom died, she started throwing a yearly music festival that she called the Red Fall Fest, because my mom's drug dealer name in her community was Red, because she had similar hair to me, just brighter, right? Um, and she threw that for like 10 years or 12 years or something after my mom died. And then they stopped getting funding for it, so they stopped doing it. Well, we were thinking, like, what if we revive Red Fall Fest and throw it as a protest on, the grounds of the Portage County Courthouse with the intent of saying, do something about this, like actually look at it. When you have a person who's saying, it's been a long time, I don't even smoke weed anymore, I don't care even to plead guilty, like, some felony weed charges, they might prevent me from going to Canada, but I don't want to go there anyway. Like, other than that, like, they're not going to prevent me from getting jobs. I have more work than I know what to do with right now. So it's that's a thing that we're considering, is like a version of that, to have a bunch of people show up and make a big public fucking stink of it, like embarrass them into it. Because the reality is, my preference is to raise money to hire a lawyer that has standing with them enough to say, look, if you guys do this and not make it hard on her, you're going to look like heroes. And so when she goes and she writes her books, she's going to write kindly of you. And I would, if I were to get a situation where the court was willing to just like let me pay a fee and that's it, and I don't even care if I have to plead guilty, like they can feel like they did something, they got their guilty plea, they get their money, but I don't have to go to prison. I mean, I'm here for it, right? I would be thanking these people publicly. But if they're going to make it a fight, they're going to make it a fight.
Yeah, I hear you. So Shadrach, I meant to bring you in a little bit ago, but you got any questions, any comments, any thoughts?
No, I just enjoying the interview. I mean, it's awful. I think this is something we need to be very cognizant of with the kinds of activities we do in the VonuLife. So it's thank you for your story, because I think it really helps temper things. But I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, it's easy to look at the laws and to be like, civil disobedience, I'm gonna just say fuck it, I'm not hurting anybody. But once you're there, sitting there in jail with many felonies, and then me now 10 years later, like, I don't see my family unless I import them. And that's not easy, like my sister's been waiting on a passport for 8 months that they just haven't delivered to her to be able to come visit me. Like, I only see my dad when I fly him here, and that it's a lot cheaper for me to go there and see the many people that I miss. It's also a thing, like, I've noticed in the Acapulco community and the greater community at large, that it's real easy for everybody to say, just forget about your life there. Just like have somebody file a death certificate, just forget about your life there. And I'm like, it'd be one thing if the people that I left behind were toxic, but I was raised in an agorist family by agorists, and I have a lot of really good friends that are really sympathetic to the way that I live my life, even if they're, more liberal or whatever. they're good people, and I don't feel the need to cut myself off completely from that life. I would rather just find a way to heal that wound and to just move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, Shadrach, has anybody ever told you you look like Jason Henza?
No, I don't know. I don't even know who that is.
That's funny too. So so Henzo was supposed to show up like during the time,
Oh,
show up
yeah.
in
Okay.
Veritas during the interview, but it's gonna be like 9:30. But it was like crazy. I was like, well, if he shows up while we're on with Lily, we'll have like an anarchist
Yeah.
reunion here at Veritas.
Yeah,
But
you look just like him. It's so funny.
Wow.
you know, I guess an anarchist reunion with one of Henzo's doppelgangers.
Yeah. We should do one with Henza eventually, because yeah, he's one person that, I mean, maybe we're trauma bonded or whatever, but at least, I mean, if you're going to be trauma bonded with somebody, be trauma bonded with somebody that's a good person,
Yeah,
you
for
know,
sure,
and treats
yeah.
you with respect. But yeah, he's good people. He's one of the people that's helped make my situation possible, you know, because like when I've needed him, like he fucking drove my dog from Mexico to Ohio to go live with my sister. So that's the funniest part, is my dog lives in Ohio with my family. And he's a Mexican dog, and he was able to cross the border and he had no problems, right?
Mm-hmm.
He just needed, I sent him there because my sister has kids. I'm not going to have kids. She has kids. She has land. She has another dog. And so it was just a better life for him. But yeah.
Gotcha. So I guess this kind of ties in with what you're just kind of talking about, and also to your last interview with Thane. But it was back when you found these ideas of freedom. You didn't realize there were ways to pursue freedom without blowing up your entire life, becoming a fugitive, etc.
Right.
So yeah,
I
like
didn't have the best examples.
yeah, no, like and that it didn't exist. Like 20, you said 2015. Like I didn't know about Vonu, and I might have found out about Vonu, and no, it was 2016. So I didn't even know about Vonu then. But like, thankful before I had the chance to do that, I found Vonu and security culture and kind of second round principles and second round material and that. Like it's more so like basically a step out as you can, a step out from the first realm into the second realm as you can. With you know, kind of with laid out strategy and tactics, sort of to do it. So I guess I feel lucky, and that like it. I guess just in that sense, you know, having those. So I guess the question here is, for any young radicals listening, you know, maybe they found their way here via TikTok, or something. With all the shit you've gone through and with where you're at right now, what would you say to them? Like, you know, they come across these ideas. You know, they're obviously got a lot of energy and passion.
And anger.
Ready to fucking do whatever. So I mean, like, what would you say to them? How is the best approach to living freedom in the modern world from your perspective?
Oh man.
Big
Yeah,
question.
so yeah, it's so funny because like my best friend in Mexico, her name's Stephanie, and she now works for Anarchapulco, but she's my best friend. She's so funny because last year she called me out because I've spent like a lot of money chasing papers in Mexico, and she was like, I have never met an anarchist so concerned with getting papers. And there's truth to that, but for somebody who's young, who's 18 years old, just realize everything's a fucking scam, you know, like it's all a control game. Um, what I would say to them is absolutely do not do what I did. You know, people used to contact me and they would ask me, "Oh, how do I do what you did? I have charges. I need to, how do I do what you did?" And I would write like a fucking instruction manual, right? I still have people that contact me and ask me that. And I tell them, fucking don't. You know, like what you have to do is if you're already in legal troubles, play the fucking game, because if you act like you're, especially if it's for weed and stuff, you can go to rehab and you can get out of that shit, right? But we were just so pissed off with the system that we didn't. I was also isolated from my family. So that being said, like there are so many smarter ways to check out of the system. And for me, the easiest one, especially like if you are interested in the idea of becoming an expat, because I was interested in becoming an expat before I got arrested. We almost moved to Cambodia, right? The smartest thing to do is to live, to find the rules and to find the loopholes, because there are loopholes. There are loopholes to everything, you know, like if you are really into, you know, weed, go somewhere where it's fucking legal. First off, it might not be federally legal, whatever, but just go somewhere where it's fucking legal. And if you don't want to do that, be prepared for consequences, and make sure that at the very least, if you're going to do it in an area where it's illegal, be in an area where the government is not heinously corrupt like it is where I have my issues, right?
Strategic relocation. Yeah. Choose a good area. Lots of
Choose
considerations. Yeah.
area is everything, right? It's fucking everything. Like if I would have just, and most people don't know this, but I had this job when I was 18 and I worked for this guy that owned an ice cream shop. And it was my favorite job I've ever worked, because the guy, he was an expat, and he was pretty fucking libertarian. He was telling me, don't go to college. Don't waste your time doing that. I'll make you a partner of the business. You'll work here. We'll split everything 50-50. And then when the winter time comes, because you would only work like 5 months out of the year in Ohio, when the winter time comes, go anywhere but the United States, because the United States dollar is failing. Take your money, go spend it elsewhere, start a new life, and only come back here for work. Work your ass off, go back. And he had been doing this, going back and forth to China for 30 years by that point. Just a couple of years with the ice cream store, but he had various other businesses. That's what I should have done. Like if you're 18, you're considering going to college or even engaging in the counterculture, if you have even the slightest desire to leave the country, get a high paying job, like a factory job or something that pays
Yeah.
decently.
Something like $20 an hour, you get overtime, work your ass off.
Yeah, just work your ass off, save for 6 months, and then go to fucking Mexico. Go to fucking Belize, Honduras, you know, fucking Serbia. Like, there are so many options out there where the cost of living is actually pretty low. You know, like I'm living right now in my dream house, my dream apartment with my dream kitchen for $750 a month. And this is the most I've ever paid. You know, like the least I've ever paid is 800 pesos a month, which is like 40 fucking 50 fucking dollars. You know, so like you can get, you know, a really nice quality of life. You only need like a couple $1,000 and you can really fucking do it. And go somewhere and just play their game, get the residency, go to fucking Paraguay, play their game, get the residency. Argentina is another good one. Like, just fucking play the game, get the residency, collect as many residencies as you can. Do the fucking research into how to actually legally avoid taxes. Like, for example, in Mexico, part of the reason I want papers so bad is because I can go and have an accountant file paperwork with the SAT, which is the IRS of Mexico. I forget the name of the way you file, but if you have residency, you can go and file and this thing, and it makes it so you are only legally liable to pay 2 to 3% per year in income tax. Normally it's about 30. It's not that different from the US. But if you make less than like 900,000 pesos a year, which they don't count crypto for that because they can't see crypto. So if you get paid a lot in crypto and you just hold it and only cash out what you're spending to live, you can live for, you know, 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 if you really want to live a good fucking life in Mexico. Like $15,000 here, you can live like a fucking king in Mexico, right? And then you're going to pay what, 1, 2, 3% in taxes? Like that's the smart way to do it, you know? Because I mean, and all the people that I know that are really living free, like don't let your principles get in the way of your freedom. Yeah, we shouldn't need to have passports, but the world that fucking we live in, we do, right? So we need to just deal with that as it is. Like we shouldn't need to have to pay taxes, all of that, but you do. So how do you do it more intelligently? To where when somebody comes looking at you with a magnifying glass, they can't find anything. You know, you just been by the book. You know, maybe your thoughts are, you know, not what they want them to be, but that is the fucking move, is to find where taxes are friendly. Like taxes, if you make below that certain amount here in Mexico, really friendly. It's not that hard to get residency. especially if you marry a Mexican. If you have a child, you're entitled to permanent residency, like that. You know, like you can have a kid and then go a week after it's born, take its birth certificate and sign up for residency and get it. You know, and that includes getting pregnant and moving to Mexico while you're pregnant, having the child here. It does not have to be born to a Mexican parent. It can be born, you can be a single parent and do that, right? So that's what people that are young need to do. They need to find the fucking loopholes and then they need to just exploit them and make yourself find a way to decentralize your income in that the digital nomad thing, you know, like I have the beauty of I can work from literally anywhere. My problem is that I'm afraid to travel to anywhere, right?
Yeah.
But if you are able to work from anywhere, you can pivot quickly if the situation changes, because sometimes they do. Like I had a friend in Panama and the fucking lockdown happened, and then all of a sudden he was not allowed to leave his house except for 1 hour a day, you know? In those situations you have to pivot, right? No place stays perfect forever and no place is perfect, but
Right.
there are places that are a hell of a lot better. And even in the US there are little pockets of freedom that are a hell of a lot better than fucking, you know, Kent, Ohio, where they shot at students for protesting a war.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So
Right.
that is the root of it, you know.
Yeah, no, that's well said, and that you know goes back to early Rayo back in the '60s. That's make your money in the States, spend it elsewhere.
Right.
One of his base things, country shop. I think he were like the Bahamas back in the '60s and '70s. But then nowadays, no, I'm with you. I used to be like, I don't want any fucking government documentation. I shouldn't have to have it. But now it's like I want to find out how to get more documentation, like my way, sort
Right.
of a thing. So now like there's so you're talking about the pat like so I'll toss out one. I've never used them, but they come with a lot of options, and I followed one of their main people on Twitter for a long time. So I think it's solid. But Plan B Passport, they've got all sorts of programs for like St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Bermuda to buy with Bitcoin, for example.
Yeah,
St.
but those are
Lucia, they're
expensive, to
expensive
be
as shit.
clear.
They are
They're
expensive
like
as shit.
250 grand minimum, right? Just to get the passport.
Yes.
And then there's like, even if you're going to stay in the United States, Chris Gronsky, he's an Anarchapulco speaker. He has this program that does seem to he's basically found all the loopholes and he teaches his clients how to exploit the loopholes. You know, you end up getting like a state passport instead of a federal passport. And I know some people who have gone through it. And the thing about him is he's pretty well known in the community, and I've never heard of anybody who has been in trouble by following his advice. And he actively says at Anarchapulco, like, I'm not teaching you how to break the law. I am teaching you what the law is and what you can do as a human to have a better life, right? Because I get it, you know, like, and I know a lot of people are critical, you know, oh, well, you're an anarchist, but you still pay your taxes and you still work a normal job. And it's like, bro, most people find this shit when they are already established
It's hard to
with
de-root.
kids and families and shit. And it's like, I do not talk shit on anybody working a normie ass job, paying their taxes. They're like, oh, you just come to Anarchapulco and you pretend anarchy for a week and then you go back to your life, you know, you fucking whatever. And I'm just like, I'm not judging people for that. You know, like, I know that if I had done, like, if I had gone the normie route, I'd be one of those people. And I wouldn't be as happy as I am. That's true, right? Like, I've taken great risk, but I also have great reward of like, I work when I want. If I want to stop working randomly and go to the fucking circus gym and play around on a trapeze for 2 hours, I can do that. And nobody's going to stop me. You can't do that working we job. I get that. But I'm also not going to be the person to judge somebody because of that, because it is like we have a limited time on this planet, and I have experienced a greater level of suffering and stress than the majority of people have. That stress lives inside my body. It affects me on a regular basis. And that is what I chose. And I don't have regrets per se, right? I do have a very, very like cozy life for all of the struggles I have. But I am doing everything in my power to make it easier. And I have often said that, like, once I have like an actual legitimate passport and those charges are dropped, I'm going to be annoyingly unstoppable because I'm just going to be flitting around the planet seeing shit I always wanted to see. And the only thing that people can say about me is that I work for Anarchapulco, which is a legally registered business in a tax-friendly area. You know, like, I'm not fucking breaking all these crazy laws. I just don't like the government and I don't like cops, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I appreciate all that. I appreciate all that, and it's hard. I've talked about this before. Like, I stumbled across Bill Cooper when I was like 18 or 19, and if you stumble across Bill Cooper, like, you're just fucking done. Like, there's no way you're gonna enter back in. If one of the first clips you hear is him talking on June 28th, 2001 about whatever they blame on Osama bin Laden, don't you even believe it? And then you watch a 9-hour presentation of his right after that. Yeah, you're kind of fucked for being a part of society. But no, like, you're right.
Right.
It's all about just. But again, that just opens up more opportunities. I would have been doing some sort of my passion in high school. I would have been like some geneticist doing some bullshit now. So yeah, I probably wouldn't be happy and whatever. Might be making money, but I wouldn't be happy. And yeah, those two things are definitely not synonymous. So yeah, no,
Right.
I get you. It's super hard, and I'm appreciative of it, but also kind of, it'd be like, in some ways it'd be so much easier to find out about this stuff like after you're established with money and savings and all of that. But then you have to go about the part of disentangling, which is what you were referring to earlier,
Yeah, when
like
you've got your
when you got a
family and
family,
all of that.
you got your
Yeah.
family, a house, and like all sorts of first round investments and all of that. Like, no, like at that point, it's not about talking shit. It's like, well, like the question is like, if you want freedom, like, just one step by step, try to disentangle where you can. It's not about blowing up your life or anything. It's like, instead of tossing your money in a 401k, maybe buy some Monero or something. I don't know, just toss out something random. But
Yeah, get some silver bits.
silver, yeah, get some copper, whatever. Yeah, just steps, steps in the right direction, with the goal of getting out, or with the end goal of getting out, and not, obviously not justifying wasting time or whatever. But there's no reason to blow up your life over, this kind of shit.
Right. You know, like, my situation is in many ways a cautionary tale because, like, you can blow up your life and it's going to be exciting and there's going to be some crazy shit that happens. Like,
And
and I've
you
got
might get a
stories.
documentary too. But yeah, is it worth it?
Yeah, the biggest trauma dump, I like to say, ever. Because that's what it is, you know? And, like, I've got so many stories, like, and I'm always reminded of this when I meet somebody new and I'm telling them my stories and they're just sitting there with their mouth open, like, wow, you know? And it's just like, do not recommend, right? Like, but the thing is, I don't think I would change anything if I went back. Because I was talking to my dad about this like a couple of years ago, and this was like when I was also considering revisiting a relationship with my first love. Now, that guy, he's a good guy. He was stupid back then and he made some stupid choices and lost what we had, but I was considering giving it another shot. He had his shit together. He's a good guy, right? And I was talking to my dad about it, and my dad's like, "You don't want that." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "If you would have stayed with him, you would have ended up with a couple of kids, working a normal ass job, and you would be bored. You would be so fucking bored, and you know it." And I'm like, "Well, you're not wrong there. I would be." But the majority of people, they don't have the thick skin that I do as far as tolerance for risk and, you know,
Yeah, no, I hear
that's
that.
okay.
I hear that entirely. Yeah,
I
yeah,
have
for
a lot
sure.
of compassion for people. There are a lot of people out there that are like, NPCs, they're so dumb, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I have a lot of compassion for people. Um, and some people, they go through a lot and they get jaded and they're like, nobody understands and they're all a bunch of bitches. And if I can go through this, you guys can get over it. And I'm the opposite in that way. I'm just like, this is emotionally crippling and spiritually crippling in some ways. I feel for people, and I am not one of those people that believes that the majority of people that you see on the street, even the ones following the laws and getting the vaxes and doing the, you know, they're not just soulless NPC people. They're good people. They have thoughts going on. They're probably a little brainwashed, but that doesn't mean they're evil, and it doesn't mean they're retarded or beyond saving. The reality is the majority of people that find their way into this community do so through trauma.
Yeah.
Do so because they have been forced to face the reality of the system and they can't look back with a little bit of autism.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. So yeah, we've kept you. I mean, it's been about 45 minutes. I guess Shadrach, I'll give you a chance here for any questions or thoughts or whatever, and then we'll get to our only break, and we'll probably not get to our second home strategy session. We've got some VonuLife Digital Message Board stuff to get to, but that is all right. There's always more
No,
shows.
yeah, that's really good advice. I think when I originally wanted to do this podcast with Rayo, I was thinking about it just being about learning more about like where those lines are and what we can do, and kind of exploring that together, possibly having different constitutional lawyers on and people. So very good advice. Know the line, and yeah, we don't need people locked up
Don't
that
need people in
are
cages. Nope.
yeah.
We become way less effective when people are locked up in the
Yep.
cages.
Yep.
Yep. So yeah, thank you. It was really nice having you on.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. I do intend to be doing a lot more of this stuff, especially working with the enemies of the state guys, because I got advice from several people after the documentary came out, like, look, they're already embarrassed. Just be quiet, kind of, try to solve it behind hire a lawyer, try to do it their way. And they just aren't responding to that, and I don't want to embarrass anybody, but I also have to go on with my life, like I can't. What am I going to make it to 20 years of living in Mexico with no papers? That's just it's unreasonable, especially for crimes that have zero victims.
Yeah.
Just because I happen to be also an activist in college and that guy wanted to nail me for, whatever for years before that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's again, in one sense, it's anytime someone has to go through unnecessary shit, it's like that's the entire 20th century with statism, is just that sort of shit in the worst, most brutal forms. So it sucks that obviously it sucks you had to go through it, but as you said, no regrets, light at the end of the tunnel. I think you're better for what you went through. But yeah, I guess we'll close out here. Any closing thoughts, and then also alongside that, plug whatever you want to. You got your new podcast, you got Enemies of the State, whatever else.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, you're right in that, like, I am better for it. I am who I am because of what I went through and what I've experienced and everything. So in many ways, I am thankful for it. Like, yeah, I mean, even the Anarchist series, people always ask me, "Did you get paid?" No, I didn't. But my soulmate happened to be in Serbia watching the show and decided to come back to Mexico and be in my life. And now he's in the other room and just the biggest source of
Bigger
peace,
benefits than
right?
financial. Yeah.
Right. And then, like, as far as plugging things, yeah, I have my podcast. I actually changed the name of it because I realized, one, I was getting shadow banned on YouTube from the get because they don't like when you say fuck in the title of your podcast, and so I changed it to Unraveled, which makes sense because I'm a crochet artist and it suits the situation. So I changed that. I'm still doing that, considering going to weekly episodes because I just have so much fucking content already. I just started it a few months ago, and so I'm doing that. If anybody needs a website built, I'm the one. And then beyond that, behind me, you'll see we're getting prepared to make the next edition of my comic book, which is about my life. Because when you live a life like mine, it does read like a comic book. And so we started one, and it's called Rootless Renegade, and this is the 3rd edition. That's my dad and his Harley, and he took me on his Harley when I was a baby, so I grew up on that thing. And so it's the story of how my parents met each other, because my dad liked to smoke weed and my mom liked to sell weed. And because you can't really tell the story of an outlaw without, like, how does somebody get to that? You don't just live a normie life and then hop into outlaw life. It doesn't happen like that. You have to be raised in that way. And so I'm also building a website. If you go here, there's nothing there yet, but I'm working on it. It's called freedomformiranda.com. There will be GoFundMe's, and they talked about petitions, but I'm not really sure what we petition to or for. But we're building the strategy, and the enemies of the state strategy that we'll be working on will be hosted within that website. And that all of that is linked. All of that I mentioned, it's a couple different websites, but you can find it all at mirandarenewebb.com, including my social media, including ways to contact me for anything from web design to just, hey, what's up? I saw the podcast. Why I have questions. I am an open book. A lot of people, still to this day, people message me and are like, they say nice things and they just expect me to never read it, and then I respond to them, and then they ask me questions, and of course I'm going to answer them. And a lot of people are surprised that I am an open book. I don't really, like, unless you're being a fucking weirdo, like, don't just message me and say, hey, like, just be friendly, introduce yourself, like, speak your mind. But I do respond to pretty much, if I see it, I respond. So yeah, just reach out. If you have any ideas of what the fuck to do about my situation, or happen to know any bulldog lawyers in Portage or Summit County, Ohio, send them my way.
Yeah, I guess the couple other loops to close up real quick. We talked about you having a show here on the PAZNIA Radio Network
Yeah,
at some point, so and we don't got to talk about details here, but that could be coming in the future.
that could be coming. I'm open to that. It's more of just making sure I can commit to a specific time every week. But I'm getting to the
or
point
just once a
soon where I
month.
could do that.
But yeah, regardless,
Or
yes.
still,
Yeah,
yeah.
understood.
Because sometimes I pick up and I move cities for various reasons. And there have been times where, like, I went to bed one night and then woke up the next morning and my partner's like, we need to go here for this reason, and
Yeah.
so we pack and go, which I love. That there's a beauty to that. I love that ability of, okay, let me just pack up my office in a backpack and put my cat in her box. I'm looking down because she's sitting there, because she travels with me. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. And I think the other thing I want to mention was it'd be great to get your comic books listed on the LEO catalog, which again we can talk about later on. But
Yeah, let's talk about
we're very
that.
much very obviously comedy, culture jamming. You can't just reach people with autistic logic and reasoning. It's got to be through entertainment. So, comic books.
Well, the
A
reality
great aspect.
is we have moved beyond the talking heads of, these are the problems, this is what things could be like, this is what things can be like. There's got to be a point where you actually have to start trying shit and realizing, oh, this works, this doesn't, right? And that's the reality of, like, that's the shift that Anarchapulco has made. And it's pissed a lot of people off because they're like, oh, I used to have, well, all you do is bitch about how the government's continuing to be the government. What do you do? Like, what do you actually do for the situation? What are you trying? What's your solutions? Are you healing yourself, or are you just bitching about how you're shadow banned on Facebook?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Well, Miranda, I got to correct it in my own mind too. Miranda, it was great to have you here on the Life and Times of PAZNIA. We'll get you back on sometime in the future. There's always plenty to discuss. But
Sounds good.
yeah, much appreciate your time. And as for us, Shadrach, we're gonna head to our only break for this evening, and then
Alrighty.
we will yeah, I suppose yeah, come back from the break and not do our second round strategy session. We'll just do some fan mail when we come back.
Sounds good.
I should go ahead and get this started because the music actually, as it's supposed to, it kind of slowly leads in. Which I fucked up.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Thank you, Miranda. Have a good one. All right, we're back in a few.
Now, when it comes to weird alternative health shit, you may have heard of Brown's gas, boss, aka molecular hydrogen. Technically, actually, molecular hydrogen is just one part of what Brown's gas is, but whatever. It's a kind of wellness treatment used by health professionals and weirdos all over the world, both mainstream and otherwise. They got gas bars in Japan and shit. Big body of research showing that this therapy likely helps with pretty much everything: cancer, diabetes, heart disease, pretty much every organ system in the body. Over 1,500 papers, therapeutic potential for 170 diseases. In broad strokes, it works by fucking electrolyzing water into hydrogen and oxygen, and then you breathe that shit and you drink the water that it's bubbled through. And these gases are, negagatively charged and shit, and they get into every cell of your body. It's probably how magical healing springs work, at least partially. The water is hydrogen enriched. Now, the PAZNIA Department of Health and Wellness has run R&D on these machines for about 4 years, and the top machine being recommended right now is the Lord's Hydrofix by Holy Hydrogen. And can you believe it? We have a coupon code for a product that isn't on our own fucking store. There's a first time for everything, so save a fat chunk of change on the Department of Health and Wellness's top recommended machine, and support Cloak and Dagger at the same time by heading on over to holyhydrogen.com and inputting coupon code VONU100 to get $100 off your Lord's Hydrofix. You're going to want to do your own research on this. The Molecular Hydrogen Institute website can help you with that. There's whatever, you can use whatever resources you want. There's a huge body of research on this. You know as well as I do, hopefully, that there are a lot of bullshit health tonics and gimmicks being hawked out there. The Brown's gas is one of the truest, most powerful tonic treatments out there in the world by far. When you learn for yourself how much of a health and wellness bombshell molecular hydrogen truly is, you're going to see why having your own machine is truly worth the investment. These machines are a bit costly, okay? I'm not going to lie to you, but they last for ages, and they may help you save on health costs in the long run. Nothing's a bigger deal than your health, so pony the fuck up. Go to holyhydrogen.com, use coupon code VONU100, Victor Oscar November Uniform 100. Get $100 off.
Hey guys, Scott here for Liberty Under Attack Publications. Looking for a Liberty-focused publisher? Liberty Under Attack publishes books and strategy guides for individuals looking to increase their personal freedom. They assist authors through the entire publishing process: proofreading, editing, cover designs, paperback and Kindle formatting, and full audiobook narration and post-production. Tell them Scott sent you and get 20% off a full service deal. To get some one-of-a-kind books or for more information, visit libertyunderattack.com.
Liberty Under Attack Publications is your source for all things self-liberation. Featuring high-quality agorist and anarchist fiction, Paul Rosenberg's A Lodging of Wayfaring Men, and his The Breaking Dawn are two great starts. The Brushfire series by Matthew Wojtecki is stellar, #Agora, and more. Save Bitcoin or fiat by buying a bundle, such as the Strategy Sample Pack, wherein you can explore a few different strategies to the problem of freedom. At current, Vonu, Ben Stone's vision, and Second Realm book on strategy. And once you're inspired to take action in your own life, head on over to the Ghost Pads and Privacy Tools tab to get yourself a ghost phone and ghost pad, and secure your communications from both the public and private spies. Stock up your home apothecary with items from Aura's Apothecary, black drawing salve, comfrey salve, natural insect repellent, and much more. And finally, the newest addition, PAZNIA Farms canned goods, cowboy candy, pickles, salsa, etc. Of course, all of the canned goods and the apothecary items are made with the highest quality ingredients, some grown here at the homestead. Head on over to libertyunderattack.com, again libertyunderattack.com, to check out our full catalog or to place your order today. Bitcoin accepted and preferred. Email if you'd like to pay with XMR, shane@libertyunderattack.com, or if you'd like to place an international order. Again, libertyunderattack.com. Liberty Under Attack Publications. Share your story, find your freedom.
Rayo, Shadrach, hide the guns and the drugs. We about to be back on the air.
This is the Life and Times of PAZNIA, a monthly news show from Veritas. Now, your humble hosts, Rayo2 and Shadrach.
Yes, we're definitely back. But I've got half a blunt to finish still, so it's gonna be fun. And welcome back to the Life and Times of PAZNIA, a monthly news show from Veritas. I'm your host, Shane, aka Rayo2. This is Shadrach, the legendary OG Bitcoiner, good friend. Just a guy doing it, out there doing it. I'm honored to have him here with me.
Yeah, OG Bitcoiner, no. I think, yeah, ironically, I started with Monero, but I've been dragged through a lot of different cultures, and it was really great meeting you. And I think Vonu really kind of connected all of my like libertarian past, but kind of like Miranda was saying, like it's like who's actually doing the work out there. And I see more people as van nomads and homesteaders and of all walks of life who are doing a lot more work towards freedom than Bitcoiners per se.
Well, that's true. And yeah, I didn't mean that in slight. I understand how it could be taken as that, but I appreciate the clarification. Certainly, yeah. No, it could be a slight. Yeah.
I want to build the world that I want myself and my kids and grandkids to live in. So,
hell yeah.
Whatever it takes.
All right, so this is we've got a clip for this. We might as well do it right?
It's that time again here on the Life and Times of PAZNIA, wherein we deeply wish to hear from you, dear PAZNIA Radio Network listener. Have a lead or tip for us to pursue? Got a question? Got some shit to talk? Just want to leave a donation? There are many ways to do so. Give us a call, PAZNIA.com/call2. Leave us a message and donation at xmrchat.com/PAZNIA Radio. Or drop a comment in any of the various PAZNIA simplex chats. The Second Realm is nothing without you, fellow self-liberator. So please do reach out. This is the VonuLife Digital Message Board.
All right, and this is the VonuLife Digital Message Board. First one is from P.A.Z.NIA, who I think is someone who came. I'm trying to remember where. This was a month ago. It's hard to keep track of this shit. But I think he came from one of our conversations or some Noster Bitcoin conversation. But P.A.Z.NIA, a new person in the SimpleX chat, says, I have a few comments and suggestions for the PAZNIA network. Use AI tools to make audiobooks of the free books and start to form a library of such. So that's, I guess, the first thing. We're doing it. I love your suggestion. We're doing it. We'll just keep that simple. Shadrach mentioned Tower of Babel. This is a fascinating synchronicity as I've studied belief systems, and I think this is the critical roadblock to scaling or mass adoption of sovereignty, no ruler ideology. To do a pod, so that's one. I guess that's the next thing. This is just one long message, but that's the second point. I guess the Tower of Babel is a fascinating synchronicity in that it could be related to scaling or mass adoption of no sovereignty. Anyway, next
Did
one.
I say that?
No, that was, well, P.A.Z.NIA was one, unless you're P.A.Z.NIA on Simplex.
No. I asked, okay, that was the Tower of Babel.
You mentioned the Tower of Babel, and I guess he went on beyond that.
Okay. No, that's funny because that came up in a friend of mine's podcast from last week. So I don't even remember us talking about the Tower of Babel, but that's interesting.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure. So the next point here, I guess he's recommending a podcast idea, exploring common beliefs and entrapments of statism. Also reviewing the epic, awesome Damon and Freedom TM books, which are must-read listen for every voluntarist. It's like the Matrix meets Fight Club. So yeah.
Have you read those?
Have I read Fight Club?
No, which one is he suggesting?
Well, I guess Damon and Freedom TM books. I don't know what the TM part of that means. So Damon and Freedom books, I guess, is the way that I read that. Like maybe a podcast on reviewing the best freedom books that every voluntarist must read. Which I can do that. I mean, got a catalog of them. And the last one, Brandon Joe Williams seems to be doing great work on the reference legal side of forming micronations and separating from the slavery system. So appreciate that recommendation. That last one, there wasn't much else to. We're on the same page. It seems like. So, yeah.
There's a few new ones in the Simplex chat I really liked. Avalon Centrifuge asked about any ideas on fictional lore for things like PAZcraft, something that is freedom related or just very unique, maybe. One thing. I don't know where I now just can't stop seeing a stack of D&D books that are like the different characters we play, and have ones for like people who are doing pirate activities, people who are like doing like SimCity type of things, like maybe like growing characters that have, you know, big homesteads, and kind of turn the whole thing into like what are the roles. And I was thinking, because we've been debating the internet bandwidth side of things, and as far as creating this alternate internet and mesh network and stuff. And I think there will be people who need high bandwidth, and they will end up being like the people who are using the high-end AI and the high bandwidth projects will be kind of managing those resources for the people who don't need as much bandwidth for what they do, and then trying to cache as much stuff locally in your community area as possible. So like these are all different roles, and then maybe go through Lodging of Wayfaring Men and just like, okay, what kind of person, what role was this person playing? Okay, well, we need people to learn how to play that role of the, you know, the serial entrepreneur, or the guy who wants to strategically fund projects, or like the guy who's going to be taking over the PAZNIA Airlines, and just kind of turn them all into different characters. I think would be fun. So that's my idea. So thank you for the question.
Yeah. No, it's a great question. So fictional lore. I mean, the idea is you just go through the folklore story times that play on PAZNIA Radio, and that's where my mind's at.
Yeah. Yeah, I love those.
So I mean, I don't know. Like I've thought about Avalon. You and I recently in the PAZCraft chat talked about. I don't know. I like the idea of like education, fun, propaganda via video game, like Fallout, Skyrim, story quests, sort of things. But so, yeah, beyond the only thing, the furthest I've thought so far on this is that when people are dropped into the map, their first mission is to report to the IGCC and go General Willie 2 for their first orders. So beyond that, I don't know. There's endless ways to go about it, and I'm open to suggestions. But there's a million different ways, and there's also characters that have not been added to the lore yet that will be added. So.
And yeah, we've got the goat thing here. In Prague, it's ending up being a feline themed universe. So I like we'll have maybe at some point the felines will meet the goats and battle the enemy together.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, there's lots of ideas, endless ideas. And on the topic of Avalon, the next PAZNIA Network question for both of us: ever thought about homesteading a water tower without water inside it unless you're a fish? This is a joke question, and it references the legendary smuggler container shenanigans. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, okay.
I absolutely love that idea, and I can totally imagine a water container with a wraparound deck. You can just go out there in the morning, have your coffee.
It's possible. I mean, anything's possible, right?
And are they cheaper because they're more mass produced for towns and things? It'd be interesting. Or can you get used ones? They're no longer safe for water, but you go in there, treat the inside, turn it into a house. I love the idea. I don't think it's a joke at all. I want them.
Hey, no, I
can launch my balloons off them too.
Yes, a lot of Avalon's questions and comments, he basically says they're just jokes, but I think they're actually real. So the next one, well, again, as a great example, very Vonu-related question. What are some good tents, DIY or otherwise, that are big enough to put a saucer-shaped object in it roughly 6 to 7 foot wide? I don't have any answers for that specific. That's got to be a joke question. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe there's some homesteader, survivalist out there that has some ideas. PAZNIA.com/call to let us know if you are that person. But do you have any suggestions for Dear Avalon?
Not off the shelf, but I like the idea of a yurt that you could kind of open the top up on, and then your saucer could take off if it needed to. So I think a different design for a roof on a yurt could be really cool. Maybe one that even opened up all the way, and then the roof became like a canopy on the deck outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I got.
Yeah. I don't got much else. No, I don't. In other words, I don't know how to hide a flying saucer, Avalon. I have not gotten that far myself. But
yeah.
Next, so this is an XMR chat donation from this past week. XMRchat.com/PAZNIA Radio if you want to leave a message and a donation. Subversion Stopper says, thanks Shane for helping demonstrate some of the lesser known XMR chat features. Hope others will start using them. There's many useful features. But it seems some creators aren't aware of them. Would like to see channels using the new co-host feature.
I really liked the OBS plugin, I guess he said, that you can have the chats show up. I think it would be fun, and maybe even for this, like we get questions asked all over the place. Maybe we just say like, go ask them in XMR chat. I mean, you don't have to tip much, but it can pop up in the screen, and I think it could be fun.
Yeah, and I have tried to integrate, whether it's through Streamster or through XMR. I've tried a lot of different avenues. For some reason, maybe it's OBS from 27 versions ago that I have to use. Maybe it isn't compatible with the up-to-date browser sources that you have to use. I've never been able to make it work. I haven't spent much time trying to figure it out either. So, but yeah, no, like I'm with you. I would love. It'd be awesome to have the chat up on screen. But maybe I'm just fucking too retarded to do that right now. It's okay.
No, the revolution will not have good UX.
No, it's never easy, even for just little silly shit. Except for that's why like XMR chat and places like that are beacons of hope, because you have
Hmm.
to never have any place you never have to contact customer support. Like they should have a plaque,
Yeah.
or be on like the
Yeah.
Mount Rushmore or something. Um, anyway, so this next one, I got a PGP encrypted email from a listener. He was looking for advice, relationship advice actually. We'll call this guy fucked, Phucked, like maybe an Indian spelling of the name, because he kind of is. Now, normally I would not be the one to come to for this sort of thing, but I think reaching out to us, Shadrach, might have actually been a good idea in this case, or maybe not the worst one. So, Mr. Well, actually, okay. So here's the message. I'm 31, a grind set first traditional guy, and I've been working 80-hour weeks driving Uber Eats and doing tech support just to provide for my family. My wife, a quote-unquote UX designer, always cried about being broke. Yesterday, her laptop glitched. She asked me to move her digital assets to a new device. Right there on the desktop was right there on her desktop was an open secure database, $187,000 in a black budget account, alongside a fully classified surveillance dossier on me. She broke down crying and confessed everything. Turns out she was an undercover Mossad asset. Years ago, I was flagged in a high-level geopolitical investigation. Her job was to honeypot me and infiltrate my life. But after months of surveillance, she realized I wasn't a threat, just a low-IQ, hardworking sheep complying with the system. She actually fell for me, staged a retirement, and married me. She literally engineered this whole genius just to confess. I'm guessing it's genius plan. Just to confess because the guilt was eating her alive. She wanted a fresh start. Instead, I'm filing for divorce immediately. A woman's highest virtue is submission and total transparency to her household authority. Finding out my entire marriage was a state-sponsored orchestration by a hyper-trained operative completely destroys natural order. She thinks she chose me out of pity because I'm a good guy, but I refuse to be beta-cucked by a literal intelligence agency. Should I file for divorce? And I know it's funny, but this may or may not be a real person dealing with a real situation or a fake situation.
I would like to have Richard Greaser chime in on that. To be honest, I think this is his area of expertise. But yeah. Well, so what do you think?
So I mean, my first inclination is obviously like just divorce and get the fuck away. But I think like this is a good like counter espionage opportunity.
Yeah.
So like I mean yeah, again, like you can't hide from the side anyway. Like if they already got you, you might as well play a fucking game with them or something, you know.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there is no ex Mossad, so you know.
No,
there's that.
yeah, there's no, and there's an X surveillance under Mossad. You know, like you're just kind of fucked. So yeah, I guess he got his pickle in a pickle, and now he's got to try to find the best way to get out of that situation. So my advice, he's already fucked, hence the pseudonym name. So I mean, you might as well just try to do something good with the situation and see what you can find out.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at. You can't hide from Mossad. So
I would make the most of it. I think you might even be more watched as divorced from an ex Mossad as you would be married to one.
Yeah, you'd be under extra surveillance. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's better for your liberation.
Maybe you can get away with a lot because of it.
Yeah. And no, for everyone listening, no, I saw that come across Twitter and I thought it was funny, so I worked it into the message board section. I thought it was comical. So yeah, let me see. Were there any other? I don't think so. I think we might actually be done. And we're not going to start. I am not in the. I mean, I love Rayo and Vonu articles, but I'm not in the mindset at 9 p.m. on Saturday night to go into a SecCom strategy session at 9 p.m. So I guess one more opportunity, PAZNIA.com/call2, simplex.com/ or actually, again, fucked up that link, PAZNIA.com/simplex, and finally, PAZNIA Radio Network chat. But otherwise, I guess we've covered some good news this evening. We've had a damn good overall self-liberation Saturday. Would have been great to have Greg here live, but at the same time, a review for me of his solar episode was valuable. So, and there's always, as Lily mentioned, there's always plenty of content, never ending. So, we'll save some of that for next week. Let me see what's happening next celebration Saturday. It's the Anarchist Day, 4th of July, right? Or Anarchist Day celebration. We don't have anything scheduled. I'm sure I'll be here. I don't know if anyone's going to show up, but be here doing a broadcast, doing something. Don't know what, but it is a one of the big freedom holidays, so there should be
Okay.
something done.
Cool.
I don't know what. Should have planned for it, but
Maybe we can get some kind of call-in going and get some various people on.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm also kind of. I mean, it's people just randomly show up here, and like 27 minutes, Henza will show up from somewhere in the world.
Nice.
And yeah, it's like with every one of our events and gatherings here, we really have no idea. No matter the year, no matter the event, it could be one person, it could be like 20.
I love it.
So
That's what we do.
yeah, for sure. So Shadrach, any closing thoughts? Anything you'd like to point the listeners' direction into before we begin to close out here and turn over to some deprogramming?
No, I mean, it was a great show. Thane was great. Definitely read or listen to more of this material. It has a way of seeping into your subconscious and the way that you think about how you interact with the world and show up for the world. So I appreciate the literature.
Certainly. And when we'll get into more of it, this was the first time, I think I mentioned to you a month ago, that like Kyle and I used to go back into, Kyle and I guess even Jason Booth and I used to go back into the old Vonu literature a lot. And I haven't done that in a long time. So we need to do it again.
I propose doing a 52-week schedule so that then it loops around every year and there's a different piece that everyone kind of listens to and studies for the week.
So like a Vonu Bible study kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah, I get you. Something like that. Yeah. No, I get you, man. Well, it's always an honor, always a pleasure. I look forward to next month, whether that's the 3rd or 4th Saturday. That is always open for discussion and decisions. But anyway, I actually have no conclusion typed up. Usually I type up intros and outros, but I guess I kind of effed around and didn't do it. But it doesn't matter.
Nope.
I guess the important things to close out here with are, I'd say just go to PAZNIA.com/PAZcraft and hop on in, have fun while you're getting liberated. Kind of get in on the ground floor.
Good idea.
And if you want to go, if you're hyper autistic, you want to go the other route, you can read as many books as you want to read on attack.com. You can listen to them too at VonuPodcast.com, as well as find the entirety of the Vonu podcast archive, the Second Realm series, the Building the Second Realm series we did. Super important, super powerful, something I need to play. Just one random day when I put on a stream and just turn it on, it'll be like 13 hours straight of Building the Second Realm. Yeah, all that stuff, everything's available at VonuPodcast.com, LiberateAttack.com, or PAZNIA.com. And yeah, I don't know. I got much else to say.
Cool. Well, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Our many listeners. It's
we've had double digits the entire day, which is that's a big deal.
nice. Nice.
It's a big deal. And we got a physical, in-person, big pain liberator deal happening. There's a lot of pain that needs to be liberated here in about a half hour. So we'll be hanging out here at the old console in ruins. Shadrach, as always, pleasure, man. Looking forward to next month.
Absolutely.
For the rest of the listeners, we've got, let me see what I got queued up here. There's definitely some deprogramming, maybe another, 20 or so minutes. But regardless, don't turn that dial, as Thane says. And that will actually mean something when we get on shortwave radio. But as for now, just don't click anything different. Just stay where the fuck you are and keep listening. We've got a little more going. Celebration Saturday will continue for just a little longer. PAZNIA.com/radio. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time.
Oh yeah. You got to get your books, because we know that you're a big reader, you're an avid reader. You're not watching anime and reading comic books. You read real books as well as all of that stuff. And you got to do that. You just like you do the other stuff without KYC and facial recognition and providing a DNA So sample. you want to buy some books, okay? So you go to libertyunderattack.com to get all the best books in the world. And you think you're going to do it without KYC, but then you're like, wait, they want a shipping address? What the fuck? Yeah, if you want a paper book, we need to send it somewhere. But anyway, if you don't have a super secret ghost address, fret not, boss, because you can buy any book from Lua in digital form at libertyunderattack.com/digital without giving any identifiable info, but do put a reachable email address for Boomer Rayo2 to send you the books if the checkout flow it breaks for some reason. But wait, it gets even better, because there's this crazy fucking deal called the PAZNIA Radio Network Digital Self-Liberation Bundle XMR Chat Special. You see, the Digital Self-Liberation Bundle normally costs $33.33, which is an amazing deal. But for you special PRN autists listening now, if you go to xmrchat.com/PAZNIA Radio, leave a donation worth 20 USD or more, and say something about Thane and Digital Self-Liberation Bundle, you'll get the Digital Self-Liberation Bundle at no further cost, and I, the great Thane Riddle, will get half your Monero. Now, I know what you're thinking. The PAZNIA Radio Network Digital Self-Liberation Bundle XMR Special. It's 27 syllables long. Is that because there are 27 books in the bundle and 27 hours in the audiobook bundle? Nope. Just a coincidence, you fucking retard conspiracy theorist. Stop talking about it. Stop blowing up the chat. You're going to get banned if you bring this up again. Okay, it's like posting the word Tavistock on Godlike Productions. Okay, you're going to get banned. And anyway, it makes no sense because the XMR chat special gives you another 10 books on top of the other stupid fucking bundle. So it's not even true. It's a crazy deal, folks. Rayo2 has gone crazy. His house burned down. He's I don't know if they ever found that last cat. He's crazy with grief. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's going insane. Okay, he should not be giving you such a good deal, but you have got it. So take advantage of that by sending 20 USD or more worth of Monero at xmrchat.com/PAZNIA Radio and saying something about Thane and the digital book bundle, and leave an email address for Boomer Rayo2 to send you the books at. And you can check the private message checkbox or use the super DMs or whatever so that people don't see the email.